Part 1. The pain of the self-repelling magnet. You have seen the feast of abundance. You know it exists. But you feel like you are standing on the outside, looking in through a window, convinced that you were not invited. What if the invitation has been in your pocket all along, but you have forgotten how to read it? If you feel like you are working so hard, yet constantly deflecting the very success you crave, you have found the root of the problem. This is not about your strategy. It is about your spirit. Subscribe to the Hidden Voice, and let us, together, heal the one wound that is keeping you from your own magnificent banquet. Let's begin by identifying the subtle symptoms of a deep and pervasive wound. The deservingness wound. It doesn't show up as a dramatic failure. It shows up as a quiet, constant, and exhausting pattern of self-repulsion. You are a magnificent giver. When a friend needs help, you are the first to arrive and the last to leave. You give your time, your energy, your wisdom, freely and generously. But you are a terrible receiver. When someone offers you a genuine compliment, do you feel your body clench? Do you immediately deflect it, minimize it, or feel an urgent need to give one back, as if to balance a debt? That is a symptom. When you have a day off, do you feel a subtle, nagging guilt? A feeling that you should be doing something productive, that rest is something you haven't quite earned yet? That is a symptom. When it comes to your work, your sacred service, you consistently undercharge. You give away discounts. You feel a deep discomfort in asking for what you are truly worth, as if your gift should somehow be separate from your own well-being. That is a symptom. And when money does come in, when a large payment or an unexpected windfall arrives, what is your first impulse? Is it a calm sense of course? Or is it a frantic, low-grade panic? A subconscious urge to get rid of it quickly, to pay off every bill at once, to spend it on others, to do anything to release the energetic tension of having too much. This is the pain of the self-repelling magnet. Your conscious mind is trying with all its might to pull abundance toward you. But a much deeper, more powerful, and unconscious force within you is actively pushing it away. And this inner conflict, this state of being at war with your own good, is the source of all your financial exhaustion and frustration. You feel like an imposter in the land of plenty, constantly worried that you are about to be found out, that your success is a fluke that will soon be taken away, because deep down, in a place you rarely dare to look, you don't believe you truly deserve it. Part 2. Defining the deservingness wound. We must now define this wound with a new and compassionate clarity. For too long, you have likely mistaken its symptoms for character flaws. You have called it a lack of confidence, bad money management, or humility. But it is none of those things. It is a deep, foundational wound in your sense of self. The deservingness wound is a subconscious, and often pre-verbal, belief that your worth is conditional. It is the belief that you are not inherently valuable, simply because you exist. It is the belief that your worth must be earned, proven, and constantly revalidated through your actions. This wound is often formed in early childhood. We learn that we receive love and approval when we are good, when we perform well, when we are quiet, when we please others. And we learn that love and approval are withdrawn when we are bad, when we fail, when we are messy, when we express our own needs. And so we learn the great, tragic equation of the ego. My doing equals my being. What I do determines what I am. This gets projected onto our relationship with the universe, and with money. We come to believe that the universe, like our early caregivers, has a conditional love for us. That it will only grant us abundance if we are good enough, if we work hard enough, if we suffer enough. We come to believe that our value is not our birthright, it is a wage to be earned. Let this be a moment of absolute truth. This belief is a lie. Deservingness is not something you earn from the world. It is something you were born with. It is the factory setting of your soul. Your worth is not conditional. It is absolute. A diamond does not have to do anything to be valuable. Its value is inherent in its nature. A star does not have to perform to be worthy of shining. Its shining is the natural expression of its being. You are no different. Your worth is not in your productivity, your kindness, or your spiritual purity. Your worth is in the simple, miraculous, and undeniable fact of your existence. The wound you carry is not a reflection of your true value. It is the painful and tragic result of having forgotten your true value. And the entire journey of unlocking abundance is not about becoming more worthy. It is about the sacred, and sometimes painful, process of remembering the infinite worthiness that has been yours, all along. Excellent. Let's proceed. Maintaining our clean format, here are Part 3 and Part 4 of our script, ready for narration. Part 3. The somatics of receiving this wound, this belief in your own conditional worth, is not an abstract idea. It is a physical, energetic reality. It is a program that runs in your body, an involuntary clenching against the inflow of your own good. To heal it, we must first learn to feel it. Let's do a simple, diagnostic experiment. I want you to get very still. And I want you to imagine, with as much sensory detail as possible, that someone you love and respect is standing in front of you. And now, imagine they look you directly in the eyes, and with profound, heartfelt sincerity, they say to you, "You are one of the most magnificent, worthy, and deserving souls I have ever known. You deserve every good thing that life has to offer, without condition, and without apology." As you hear those words, I want you to do nothing. Just feel. What is the immediate, involuntary reaction in your body? Be honest. Does your chest tighten? Does your heart feel like it's bracing for an impact? Is there a subtle, but definite, feeling of a shield going up? This is the armor of unworthiness, protecting you from a truth that feels too vulnerable to receive. Do you have an immediate impulse to look away? To break eye contact? To physically shrink or make yourself smaller? This is your body's conditioned response to deflecting praise, to making sure you are not seen as arrogant or too much. Is there a frantic, mental activity? A voice that immediately argues, "No, I'm not. You don't know about this mistake, or that flaw." This is the mind, loyal to your old story of unworthiness, rushing to defend its own prison. This reaction, the clenching, the shrinking, the arguing, is the sound of the door to your deservingness slamming shut. It is a deeply programmed, physiological NO, to the inflow of love, of value, of abundance. Notice that this reaction is not a conscious choice. It is an automated reflex. Your body has been so exquisitely trained to repel worthiness, that it does so without your permission. Do not judge this reaction. See it with the compassionate eyes of a scientist. You have just gathered the most crucial piece of data. You have just witnessed the program running. You have just felt the energetic signature of your own self-repulsion. And this is the beginning of your freedom. Because any program that can be seen, any reflex that can be felt, can, with conscious, patient, and loving practice, be retrained. Part 4. The core of wholeheartedness. This deep, internal sense of worthiness is not a spiritual luxury or an act of ego. It is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation for a joyful and abundant life. You are not just healing a personal wound, you are cultivating the one quality that separates those who thrive from those who merely survive. The researcher and storyteller Brené Brown has dedicated more than 20 years to studying the complex human emotions of shame, courage, and vulnerability. After interviewing thousands of people, she made a discovery that became the bedrock of her work. She wanted to know what the people who were living what she called wholehearted lives, lives of deep connection, joy, and belonging, had in common. She assumed the answer would be a long list of achievements or virtues. But the answer was breathtakingly simple. She said, there was only one variable that separated the people who have a strong sense of love and belonging from the people who really struggle for it. And that was, the people who have a strong sense of love and belonging believe they're worthy of love and belonging. Let that land in the deepest part of you. The only difference was a belief. The people who experience a life of fullness do not have more money, more success, or fewer flaws than anyone else. They simply operate from a foundational, non-negotiable, core belief in their own worthiness. This belief is not arrogance. It is not narcissism. Arrogance is the loud, frantic performance of the ego trying to convince itself and the world of a worth it doesn't truly feel. True worthiness is the opposite. It is quiet. It is humble. It is a simple, solid, and unshakable sense of, I am enough, just as I am. This core belief acts as a kind of energetic operating system. When you believe you are worthy, you are able to receive compliments, love, and help with an open and grateful heart, because you know you deserve them. When you believe you are worthy, you are able to set clear boundaries, because you know your time, your energy, and your well-being are valuable. When you believe you are worthy, you are able to charge for your services with confidence, because you know that the gifts you share have inherent value. And when you believe you are worthy, you are able to invest in yourself, to take risks, and to allow yourself to receive the abundance of the universe, because you know, on a cellular level, that you are a deserving participant in the great feast of life. The wound you carry, the wound of undeservingness, is the one piece of faulty code that has been corrupting your entire operating system. It has been the source of your self-sabotage, your under-earning, and your resistance to receiving. And the great, healing work of your life is not to go out and achieve more things to try and finally feel worthy. The work is to go inside and to heal the belief that your worth was ever in question at all. Excellent. Let's proceed. Maintaining our clean format, here are Part 5 and Part 6 of our script, ready for narration. Part 5. The Parable of the Royal Child in Rags. To truly grasp the profound and tragic nature of this mistaken identity, let us tell a timeless story. The Parable of the Royal Child in Rags. Imagine a kingdom of unimaginable beauty and abundance. In this kingdom, a child is born to the sovereign, the king and queen. This child is the heir to everything. The riches of the kingdom, the love of its people, the safety of its walls, it is all their birthright. Their worthiness is not a question, it is a fact of their very existence. But one day, in a moment of chaos, the child wanders away from the castle and gets lost in the teeming streets of the city. A poor but kind family finds the child, and seeing they are alone, they raise the child as their own. The child grows up with no memory of their royal lineage. Their entire reality is the reality of the street. Their identity is the identity of a pauper, a beggar. And so, the royal child learns the ways of the street. They learn to be grateful for the smallest crust of bread. They learn to make themselves small, to not ask for too much, for fear of being rejected. They look up at the great, shining castle on the hill, and they see it as a distant, impossible dream, a world that could never belong to them. They believe, with every fiber of their being, that they are a beggar. Their daily struggle is real. Their hunger is real. Their feeling of unworthiness is real. But their identity is a lie. They are royalty, living in the illusion of poverty. They are the rightful owner of the entire feast, yet they are begging for the crumbs that fall from the table. Their suffering is not caused by a lack of inherent worth. It is caused, entirely, by a crisis of identity. One day, a wise old royal advisor, who has been searching for the lost heir for years, finds them in the street. The advisor approaches the child, who is now a young adult, and kneels before them. "Your Highness," the advisor says, "I have found you at last. The kingdom awaits your return." The young person's first reaction is fear and disbelief. "You must be mistaken," they say. "I am no one. I am a beggar." They argue for their own limitations. They defend their own story of lack. The identity of the pauper feels more real, more safe, than the terrifying possibility of their own magnificence. You are the royal child. You were born as the heir to the infinite abundance of the universe. Limitless joy, boundless creativity, and overflowing wealth are your divine birthright. Your worthiness is absolute and unconditional. But early in your life, you got lost. You wandered away from the memory of your own divinity, and you were raised in the culture of the street, a culture that taught you that you were small, that you were lacking, that you had to struggle and beg for every scrap of worth and security. And you believed it. You adopted the identity of the pauper. And your entire spiritual journey has been the universe, the great, wise advisor, trying to remind you of who you truly are. It whispers to you in moments of beauty, in acts of kindness, in the quiet of your own heart. It kneels before you and says, "Your Highness." It is time to come home. The feast is yours. Your struggle with money is not a financial problem. It is a crisis of identity. The healing you must do is not to learn how to be a better beggar. The healing is to finally, fully, and courageously accept the truth of your own royalty. Part 6. The vow of inheritance. Do you feel the truth of this story in your bones? Do you recognize the part of you that is still arguing for your own limitations, still identifying as the pauper on the street? If this parable awakens a memory of your own forgotten royalty, then I invite you to make this space your royal court. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. This is a community for the heirs who are remembering who they are, a place where we learn to trade our rags for our robes. And now, we must perform the great act of reclamation. We must stop arguing with the wise advisor, and we must make a conscious choice to accept our inheritance. This is a vow to end the exile. A vow to come home to your own innate worth. This is the most courageous declaration you will ever make, because it requires you to let go of the familiar, painful identity that has defined your entire life. Find your center. Feel the quiet dignity that lies beneath the story of the beggar. Connect with the part of you that has always known you were meant for more. And from that place of royal truth, make this declaration. I now see and understand that I have been living a case of mistaken identity. I have been identifying with the pauper, when I am, in truth, the royal child of the universe. I honor the journey of the pauper. I honor the resilience and the strength it taught me. And I now lovingly release this identity. Its purpose is complete. The exile is over. Now, let this vow become the new, foundational truth of your being. From this day forward, I vow to see myself not as a beggar, but as a sovereign heir. I will stop asking for crumbs, and I will begin to claim my seat at the banquet table of life. I will practice thinking, feeling, and acting from my royal identity. I will treat myself with the dignity, the respect, and the profound self-love that befits an heir to the kingdom. I will invest in my well-being, honor my own needs, and receive the gifts of the universe with an open and deserving heart. I am worthy, not because I have earned it, but because it is my nature. I am deserving, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. My abundance is not a goal to be achieved, it is an inheritance to be claimed. Take a deep, conscious breath. And feel the shift. Feel the rags of the old identity falling away. Feel the quiet, unshakable dignity of your true self, settling into your bones. You are not asking the universe for anything new. You are simply, finally, and courageously, saying yes to the infinite inheritance that has always been yours. Welcome home. Excellent. Let's proceed. Maintaining our clean format, here are Part 7 and Part 8 of our script, ready for narration. Part 7. The frequency of deservingness. You have made the vow to claim your inheritance, to trade the identity of the pauper for the truth of the royal heir. This is the most profound decision you can make. Now, we must understand how this inner decision translates into a new outer reality. We must understand the physics of deservingness. As we have explored, your state of being is a broadcast. Your subconscious beliefs and your dominant emotions create an energetic frequency that you are constantly emitting. And the universe, the quantum field, responds to that frequency with perfect, impersonal precision. The state of unworthiness, the identity of the pauper, is a frequency of contraction. It is a closed receiver. It is a tight, small, and dense energy. It broadcasts a very clear signal to the universe. I am not a safe or capable container for abundance. I cannot handle very much. Please, only send me a small amount, only what is necessary to survive. Anything more would be too overwhelming. And the universe, honoring your signal, obliges. It sends you just enough to validate your story of struggle. The state of deservingness, the identity of the royal heir, is a frequency of expansion. It is an open receiver. It is a vast, relaxed, and receptive energy. It broadcasts a completely different signal. I am a worthy, capable, and grateful container for the infinite abundance of the universe. I am open. I am ready. I can handle the blessings you wish to bestow upon me. My cup is large, and I trust in my ability to let it overflow. This is the key. You are not changing your request for what you want. You are changing the fundamental broadcast about who you are. The universe is not a being that judges you. It is a mirror that reflects you. It cannot give you more than you are willing to receive. It cannot fill your cup beyond the capacity you believe you have. For years, you have been holding up a tiny thimble to the great waterfall of universal abundance, and wondering why you were only getting a few drops. The work of healing the deservingness wound is the work of putting down the thimble and picking up a great, vast, and empty chalice. This is why this inner healing is the most practical and effective financial strategy there is. You can learn all the budgeting and investment techniques in the world, but if your underlying frequency is one of unworthiness, you will subconsciously sabotage every strategy. You will be trying to pour a gallon of water into a thimble. But when you do the deep, sacred work of expanding your own capacity to receive, when you heal the core wound and begin to operate from a state of innate deservingness, the outer world begins to rearrange itself around your new frequency, often in ways that seem magical. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities happen. The right people show up. The how of your abundance becomes the universe's job, not yours. Your only job is to become the open, worthy, and willing vessel. Part 8. Rituals for reclaiming royalty. Embodying your new identity as the royal heir requires practice. The old program of the pauper has been running for decades. Its neural pathways are strong. We must now consciously and deliberately carve new pathways of worthiness. These are the daily rituals of the remembered royalty. The first ritual is the mirror of worth. This is a simple, 2-minute practice that is profoundly powerful and often deeply uncomfortable at first. It is an act of direct neurological reprogramming. Every morning, stand in front of a mirror. Look past the surface-level judgments and make direct eye contact with the being looking back at you. Take one deep breath. And then, speaking aloud, you will say these words, or words like them, with as much sincerity as you can. Muster, I see you. I love you. And I now know and accept that you are worthy and deserving of all good, simply because you exist. Then, you will remain holding your own gaze for 1 full minute, in silence. In that minute, your only job is to receive your own words. The old mind will want to argue. It will bring up all the evidence to the contrary. Your job is not to fight the arguments, but to simply keep your gaze steady, to keep your heart as open as possible, and to let the truth of your declaration begin to sink past the guard of your ego. This practice, done consistently, will begin to heal the wound at a pre-verbal level, creating a new, foundational reflection of your own worth. The second ritual is the practice of active receiving. As we have discussed, the deservingness wound makes you a terrible receiver. We must retrain this reflex. This practice turns every interaction into a potential lesson in worthiness. Your vow is to practice receiving without deflecting or apologizing. When someone offers you a compliment, your old reflex was to say, "Oh, this old thing?" Your new practice is to take a breath, make eye contact, smile, and say, "Thank you. I receive that." When someone offers to pay for your coffee, your old reflex was to argue, "No, I've got it." Your new practice is to soften and to say, "That is so kind of you. Thank you." When someone offers you help, your old reflex was to insist, "I'm fine, I can do it myself." Your new practice is to pause and to consider allowing them the gift of their own generosity. With each small act of active, graceful receiving, you are repatterning your nervous system. You are teaching your body that it is safe to receive, that you are worthy of receiving, and that receiving is not a debt to be repaid, but a beautiful and natural part of the flow of life. The third ritual is the value archive. Your mind is conditioned to link your value to your productivity and your achievements. This ritual is designed to consciously sever that link and to build a new archive of evidence for your inherent, unconditional worth. Get a journal. And every evening, your practice is to write down 1 or 2 pieces of evidence from your day that prove your value as a being, completely disconnected from your doing. You are not allowed to write down, "I closed a big deal," or "I finished my to-do list." Instead, you will look for evidence of your innate qualities. For example, today, I was a person of value because I was patient and kind to the cashier at the store. Today, I was a person of value because I took a moment to truly appreciate the beauty of a tree. Today, I was a person of value because I listened with an open heart to a friend. Today, I was a person of value simply because my heart was beating and my lungs were breathing. This practice deliberately retrains your focus. It forces you to find your worth not in what you have accomplished, but in the simple, profound, and undeniable reality of who you are. You are building a new foundation for your self-esteem, one that is not based on the shifting sands of external achievement, but on the bedrock of your own soul. Excellent! We have arrived at the final stage of this healing journey. Maintaining our clean format, here are the last two sections of the script, Part 9 and Part 10, followed by the final CTA, ready for narration. Part 9. The overflowing cup. As you begin to practice these rituals, as you gently and consistently heal the deservingness wound, you will notice a profound shift in your capacity to not just receive, but to give. This is the great and beautiful paradox of worthiness. The pauper, operating from a state of lack, is always in a state of calculation. When they give, they do so with a subtle, or not so subtle, expectation of return. They give, hoping to get. Their giving is a transaction, an attempt to fill their own empty cup. And because they are giving from a place of depletion, they quickly burn out. The royal heir, operating from a state of fullness and worthiness, gives in a completely different way. They are not giving to get. They are giving as an act of overflow. Their own cup is so full, so constantly replenished by their direct connection to the infinite source of the kingdom, that their generosity is the most natural and joyful expression of their being. When you heal your deservingness wound, you are not becoming a selfish or entitled person. You are finally, for the first time, filling your own cup to the brim. You are learning to receive the fullness of the universe's love, the fullness of its abundance, the fullness of its grace. And only when your own cup is full, can you truly and sustainably serve the world. Your service is no longer a transaction. It is a transmission. It is the effortless overflow of the love and the abundance that you have finally allowed yourself to receive. This is why healing your deservingness wound is the most generous act you can perform. Your smallness, your belief in your own lack, does not serve anyone. It keeps you in a state of depletion, which limits the reach and the power of your gifts. But your wholeness, your embodiment of your own worthiness, serves everyone. It allows you to become a fountain, not a drain. It allows you to give freely, without resentment, without expectation, because you know that your source is infinite and you are worthy of it. To unlock your own abundance is to unlock your capacity to be a profound and lasting blessing to the world. Part 10. The final invitation. And so we come to the heart of the matter. The simple, quiet, and profound truth that has been waiting for you, right in the center of your own heart. For your entire life, you have been trying to achieve abundance so that you could finally, one day, feel worthy. You have been striving, performing, and achieving, hoping that one more success, one more dollar, would finally be the piece of evidence that would convince you of your own value. You have been treating worthiness as the prize at the end of the long, hard road of success. And here is the final, great reversal. The epiphany that unlocks the kingdom. You do not need to achieve abundance to finally feel worthy. You must finally accept your inherent worthiness to allow abundance. Worthiness is not the prize. It is the key. It is not the destination. It is the starting point. It is the one, single foundational belief upon which all true and lasting wealth is built. The universe is not withholding abundance from you until you have proven yourself. It has been offering it to you, in every moment of every day. But you have been, with your own hands, holding the door of your heart shut, because you did not believe you were worthy of the gifts on the other side. The invitation now is to simply put your hands down, to stop fighting your own good, to stop arguing for your own limitations. The invitation is to accept the invitation, the one that has been in your pocket all along. The one that says you are a beloved and royal child of the universe, and the entire feast has been prepared in your honor. This is the moment of your homecoming. The end of your exile. The end of the long and painful story of the beggar. It is the quiet, dignified, and profoundly peaceful moment of remembering who you have always been. You are worthy. Not because you are perfect, not because you are special, but simply because you are. You are a unique and irreplaceable expression of life itself. And in that simple, undeniable truth, lies all the power, and all the abundance, in the universe. This quiet, unshakable knowing of your own worth is your greatest treasure. If this journey has helped you to remember it, to finally reclaim your divine inheritance, then help us share this invitation with others. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. Like and share this message. Every interaction you make helps to heal the collective wound of unworthiness and empowers another beautiful soul to finally take their rightful seat at the banquet of life. Thank you for your courage to remember. Welcome home.